Simple, honest and open. Jurgen Klopp must be gutted after getting battered 4-1 against Manchester City, not too far from his home at the Etihad. Massive game in the Premier League. That used to be first against second. And now this year with Arsenal running through, it's completely changed, hasn't it? How far is it until we got to say sack Jurgen Klopp, Dad?
Oh my goodness, that is very harsh, Theo. I'm not going to use the word sack and the word Jurgen Klopp in one sentence.
Why not?
Let's talk about that game first, Theo. Because for the first half, Liverpool were in it. They scored first. They were the equals of Man City for the first 45 minutes. Yeah. Yes, I know it collapsed in the second half. Yes, I know Liverpool have got problems. But no way. And am I going to sit here, Theo, and say sack Jurgen Klopp? It just ain't going to happen.
I just think after that performance, I don't think the players are motivated. I think the club needs a complete rebuild from top to bottom. I actually feel as if soon enough they need new owners. There hasn't been enough investment. I was hanging out with Jose Enrique today in Soccer AM and he said the same thing. He's not excited of the club's direction compared to the competition. They're no longer going for Premier League title races. And in fact, over 365 days, they've gone from a quadruple to a nothing oople. Literally, not one competition they're up for. Top four is now pretty much impossible. They are going to be...
I disagree with that, Theo.
If you still think Liverpool can get top four, you are off it, Thogdad. They don't have a double game week this week. Actually, they do. But it's a tough double game week. They've got two hard opponents to face. And you've got Newcastle, who are playing tomorrow at the same time Bolton play in the Cup final. If they can turn over Manchester United, I think the point gap is too much.
Yeah, I'm not going to write them off just yet, Theo. It's between Spurs and Newcastle and Liverpool, and there's 9 games to go approximately, and anything can happen. But I take your point to some extent. Liverpool's problem this season has been their away form. I think that's now 8 defeats. That ain't good enough.
Well, Spurs have Everton away, and that's going to be likely to be a win. I mean, look, I think for them it's difficult. You sack Conte, the players might be up for it to show the new manager what they can offer. But right now, there is no new manager. And that actually brings me on to my next point. Nagelsmann's available. He said no to Tottenham. He clearly wants to wait for other offers to see if bigger clubs come along. Liverpool might be thinking upstairs, wait, hold on a second. This is one of the best world-class managers, young, hungry, available. Tottenham wasn't big enough. Here come Liverpool. Here's this project. We got Cody Gakpo breaking onto the scene, Harvey Elliott, Bajcetic, lots of young players who are very exciting. And don't get me wrong, Jurgen Klopp is creating the building blocks for someone else to trend and to move that club back to where it belongs. But I just don't think he'll be the manager to do it. I think he loves the club and he's brought so much success to them. Champions League, Premier League, EFL Cup. I mean, like I said, last season, they only came away with 1 trophy, but they've won it all now with him. And he's done everything. He always will be a club legend. I just don't think the future is with him. I actually think he should take a break. I think in the future he'll do something like the Germany job where he can reflect as a club manager, spend some time and focus on what could be a very good project with Germany with a lot of exciting young talent there. I don't think his future lies in Liverpool. Do you strongly disagree with me?
Well, first of all, I'm glad you put a little bit of respect on his name. He's been astonishing at Liverpool.
Yeah.
First of all, he's been very loyal, Theo. We're going to talk about the owners in a minute because the owners, the Henrys, they're not the guys who will spend 100 million on a player. So he has bought, over the years, he's bought very wisely. You look at the likes of Alisson and Van Dijk. Robertson was a long time ago. Salah, etc. He built a wonderful team, and for a while they were one of the 2 best teams in England, one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the world. So he's done it once. Now, to me, to some extent, it depends upon what happens upstairs in the boardroom.
Yeah.
Who's going to come in and buy Liverpool? Will there be a sale? Who will be the new owners and who do they want?
They don't get enough backing. It's a fact.
Correct.
They can't compete with Manchester United, Newcastle, Chelsea at the moment, Arsenal. Even Arsenal get more money from their American investors. They've shown more want. But I also think, okay, they've gone from a quadruple Champions League final, they lost. Then the summer came and the World Cup happened and Jurgen Klopp is not sitting there chilling. He's sitting there watching the World Cup like, oh my God, what if Mane gets injured? What if Salah, Salah didn't qualify. So that was a bad example. But most of the team was playing there. Van Dijk, the big players could have got injured. Fitness test, they're not taking a proper rest because when the World Cup's over, they're back into pre-season. So Klopp never had a time to chill because his season went later than everybody else because of the Champions League final. So not only were the players' heads down, the morale was low, they barely had a break. So he's then come into the Premier League season unprepared compared to the other clubs. And I just don't think it's never got clicked into gear. Don't get me wrong, maybe all he needed was a break and that could come this summer. So that could be an option. Do you think Jurgen Klopp, after this summer, can rebuild properly. Jose Enrique said today they haven't properly rebuilt yet, so you can't compare. Is that what they need, a break?
I think the problem started 2 or 3 years ago when Liverpool were at their peak, and we were saying this on camera back then, even when Liverpool were top, even when they were winning trophies and Champions League, we were saying that Mane, Salah, Firmino, that Milner, Henderson, Van Dijk, Robertson, Trent, these guys, Alisson, these guys can't stay together forever. A lot of those guys are aging. They're reaching their peak. And it was 2 or 3 years ago that Liverpool needed to do more sooner, both in the transfer market, Theo, and within the sort of the youth system. So there's not enough players coming through. Now, what we've seen in midfield is a bit of disaster. Milner and Henderson, brilliant players on the day. I love Jordan Henderson. He was so good for England the other day. But he's not a young man anymore.
No, he's not.
He should not be starting every game. I'm glad to see young Harvey Elliott, who, by the way, is the only Liverpool player to start every Premier League game this season. That is fantastic. He's a good young player. But that midfield needs a lot of investment.
The midfield does. And it's not going to be Jude Bellingham. I can't see him going to Liverpool right now. Unless things change. Do you think Nagelsmann would be a good option for Jurgen if Jurgen Klopp was to go tomorrow?
Well, the first question is, does Jurgen Klopp want it?
Yeah.
Because what you cannot do, after what Jurgen Klopp has done for Liverpool Football Club and for the Premier League and for football in this country, you cannot just sack him. You cannot just give him a phone call and say, don't turn up for training. That would be the ultimate disrespect to a good man. You cannot sack. No.
The least Liverpool will do is say, you're not welcome next season. We're going to change it right. Well, not in that way. Not in a rude way.
They will sit down with him and ask him, do you want another 5 years? Do you want to build the next Liverpool team? He's done it once. He's done it well, Theo. Does he want to do it again?
When players have won everything, it's very hard to motivate them and go again straight after. That's the thing. They've won the Premier League. They've done that. They've done the Champions League. They've done the Cup. Okay, how do we then motivate them players to do it again? Because there are other people hungry around them, fighting. And by the way, these clubs are also getting a lot more investment every summer. Liverpool could fall out the pecking order unless they make actions ASAP.
Yes.
That's what I'm worried about. That's why I think we should be speaking potentially about a managerial switch around. Because if Nagelsmann calls up the Liverpool board tomorrow and says, I want this job, I like the ambition, the signings that you've made could be turned good. I'm the one that will turn around Darwin Núñez and make him a goal scorer every game. I think I can bring the best out of Gakpo. What do you say if you're the Liverpool board, Dad? Do you just say, Nagelsmann, I know you're one of the best world-class and available managers, do one? Or do you say, sorry, mate, we got to take Jurgen Klopp?
I would not take Nagelsmann over Jurgen Klopp tomorrow. I don't think that is an upgrade. Now, I see the advantages in Nagelsmann for the next 5 or 10 years. He's 35 years old, Theo. Yeah. He's not had a huge project yet in terms of, an English team, for example.
Yeah, but Bayern Munich doesn't get much bigger than that.
In Germany, Theo. But
what do you mean in Germany?
Because Bayern Munich, they win the Bundesliga 10, 11 years in a row.
But he just knocked out PSG in the Champions League.
Okay, fine. He's doing well in the Champions League. Look, I like Nagelsmann, Theo, but to some extent, he's not been tested. He's not managed a Liverpool and Arsenal.
I hate when people say managers are unproven, so they don't deserve the job.
Well, he is unproven because he's never managed an enormous. Okay,
De Zerbi, when he came from Brighton, was in the Serie A. He did well with the Serie A club. What did you like Graham Souness, who judged him and said, "Oh yeah, but he's not proven with a big English club, so it doesn't matter. He's going to do rubbish." Souness went to the extent and said, well, he's Italian, he doesn't know the English leagues. You're basically, I'm getting that sort of Souness feeling right now.
Nagelsmann, Theo, I think he's actually done a reasonable job in the last year and a half at Bayern Munich, but he has been sacked, Theo. And he's been sacked, and a couple of the reasons are to do with development of the football there, development of the players there.
You're getting sorry because he's half your age.
No. Something, a cheeky boy. Something's happened upstairs. The board of directors have turned around to Nagelsmann and said, you're fired. And it's based upon results. It's based upon player development not being good enough. You suddenly want to take him to Liverpool.
Yes, I do. And this is not an April Fool's prank. I think Liverpool's future lies with a German manager who's young and hungry. I think the ambition has unfortunately stopped. I really like Liverpool. I want the best for them as a football club. We were there when they smashed Manchester United. And I know that team has so much potential. But if it's not happening every week, and on the back end of a Bournemouth loss, you have 2 weeks of training with your coach, and you go and get smacked by City 4-1. I know City were a good team, but that team didn't even have Haaland or Foden. Jurgen Klopp, your name is on the line. I'm not saying you're going to get sacked, but I'm saying Liverpool fans need to start looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
A very big football club that deserve the best, and I think the best lies in Nagelsmann. Guys, comment down below, where will the future head for Liverpool Football Club? Will they keep Klopp? Will they keep falling? Or will they change something around, like a big player like Jude Bellingham or a new manager like Nagelsmann?
And
What's your prediction?
Tell you what they need to do. The big change that's needed is in the boardroom. You need new owners to come in, new owners that will come in and say, we want to make Liverpool year in, year out as big a club as Man City, and spend money and be willing to spend £100 million on a good signing.
I'm going to end this on one note. They asked Soccer AM, Fenners asked Jose Enrique today, and he said, what are the positives from the last year with Liverpool Football Club? You know what Enrique said? He said nothing.
Wow.
So if you want change, if you want something really bad, if you want your club to start looking at the positives, because that's a club legend looking in, okay? You need to make change. And whether it is on what level of the football club, something needs to be switched around. Smash the like button if you agree with us. If you don't, leave a comment. We're going to be responding to comments, especially the early viewers. Thank you for watching. Bolton play tomorrow. So the next video will be why Bolton will beat Plymouth. Notifications on. See you in a bit. Bye-bye.